You're listening to Morning Coffee Thoughts. Today's piece is called How News Networks Abroad Try to Keep Comments Clean and Why It's Still a Losing Battle. Section 1. The New York Times has 14 human comment moderators, 14 people, for one of the most read news sites in the world, fielding nearly 200,000 comments a month. That number tells you everything you need to know about how hard this problem actually is. News networks abroad have been experimenting with different weapons against trolls and misinformation in their comment sections, some technical, some editorial, some borderline desperate. Here's how the biggest ones are doing it, and what's actually working. Section 2. The first major shift came when Google deployed a tool called Perspective, an AI that scores comments based on how toxic they might appear to other readers. The New York Times, The Guardian, The Economist, and Wikipedia all piloted it. The system doesn't delete comments outright. It flags them for human review, essentially giving moderators a pre-sorted pile to look through instead of reading every single post. The logic is sensible. You can't fight scale with scale. You use machines to sort, humans to decide. BBC went its own direction. In 2025, it launched AI tools focused on editorial consistency and article summaries, but with a firm rule baked in. Nothing gets published without a journalist checking it first. BBC's AI guidelines require that any use of the technology must be transparent and accountable with effective and informed human oversight. They're not outsourcing judgment to machines. They're using machines to handle the boring parts. Section 3. NPR laid out its process pretty clearly. Every comment goes through at least 3 filters. First, a software program called Discourse that catches spam and bans certain words. Second, an external robot filter that goes deeper. Third, a human moderator from an outside firm reviews what's left. If you edit a published comment, it goes through all 3 again. Even then, NPR's managing editor admitted there's no perfect system. The problem isn't technology. The problem is that people are creative and language changes faster than moderation rules. Section 4. Some networks gave up entirely on the comment section arms race. Reuters and Popular Science removed comment sections from their websites altogether. The calculation was simple. The cost-benefit analysis no longer worked. Hiring moderators at scale costs money. Trolling costs nothing. The Washington Post took a softer approach. In December 2024, it launched Conversations, a new commenting system restricted exclusively to subscribers. The logic? If you're paying for the product, you're less likely to burn it down. The AFP, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, did something similar in November 2024, temporarily disabling comments on their Facebook page after troll accounts flooded their posts. Troll farms are a menace to society, and we choose not to empower inauthentic actors, their public affairs chief said. It's a nuclear option, but sometimes that's what the situation calls for. Section 5. Here's the finding that's actually surprising. When a recognized journalist engages in the comments section of their own story, trolling goes down measurably. A study published in the Journal of Computer-Mediated Communication found it had a statistically significant effect on the deliberative tone of comments. Just showing up changes the behavior. Research from the Center for Media Engagement reinforces this. A civil comments section isn't just about optics. It directly affects how people perceive a news outlet's credibility and value. When 75% of visible comments are uncivil, people rate the news site lower, feel less loyal to it, and are less likely to return. The comment section isn't just noise, it's part of the brand. The catch, having journalists moderate comments on top of their reporting workload, is its own kind of burnout. Moderators who deal exclusively with uncivil content experience more emotional exhaustion and trust the news outlet they work for less. The system, even when it works, costs something. Section 6. Reuters built something different, a dedicated fact-check unit that partners with Facebook and Instagram to review content before it spreads. The unit verifies user-generated images, videos, headlines, and social media claims, originally in English and Spanish, later expanding to Arabic and Hebrew. When something is flagged as false, Facebook adds a warning label and notifies users before they can share it. Twitter, before it became X, had a similar partnership with both Reuters and the Associated Press, using their editorial expertise to provide real-time context to trending topics and flag misinformation before it went viral. The AP and Reuters partnership was the first time Twitter had formally worked with news outlets for this purpose. That era feels distant now. Meta in early 2025 dismantled its 40,000-person fact-checking ecosystem in favor of Community Notes, a crowdsourced model borrowed from X. The Center for Countering Digital Hate estimated the change could flood Facebook and Instagram with 277 million additional harmful posts annually. Meta disputed the methodology. The trend line is moving in the wrong direction. Section 7. There is no clean solution. Every approach involves trade-offs between scale and accuracy, between openness and civility, between moderation and the accusation of censorship. The RTDNA, Radio Television Digital News Association, puts it simply: journalists are the frontline protection against false and misleading information on all platforms. Not algorithms, not fact-checkers, journalists. Back home in the Philippines, the problem is compounding. OpenAI's own report documented Operation High Five, where ChatGPT accounts were used to generate bulk taglish comments on Facebook and TikTok to push political narratives supporting the Marcos administration. Trolls are now using generative AI to scale their operations. The tools to fight them are still catching up. The war on comment section misinformation was never going to be won by technology alone. It keeps coming back to the same unglamorous thing: humans doing the work. And that wraps up today's episode. If this made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You've been listening to Morning Coffee Thoughts. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and keep asking the hard questions.